The needs of our planet were greater than she could supply. So we sent men beyond the reaches of our atmosphere. But the open space gave way to an insurgency.
We will eradicate the authority of the Earth!
The Settlement Defense Front built an army.
Our world is just beginning.
A war machine.
Theirs is dying.
One day they'll come.
It is not enough to break free.
Try to take our homeland.
We will break that!
Another year, another Call of Duty. This time it's Infinity Ward's turn to show us what they've got, and the hand they've dealt is a spacefaring sci-fi outing in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We step back into the boots of Shooty McDude fighting alongside a badass female pilot, a robot buddy, and the guy playing Martian Manhunter and Supergirl. Our mission is to defend Earth from a disgruntled, non-American accented military force led by Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, Jon Snow. The campaign is pretty par for the course, and the overall plot is very reminiscent of the Killzone series, which is a bit of a bummer. That said, it does make some strong attempts to flesh out some of its history and world building if you know where to look. Sadly, because this is a Call of Duty game, it's kinda hard to care because typically, story isn't really what the series is renowned for. What does make some of the games memorable are the moment-to-moment set pieces, but there aren't a huge amount of those here either. The moments that stand out the most in the campaign are backdrops of some of the locales. The game looks great, and as expected, the gameplay is well polished with everything running smoothly. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's campaign is mostly non-linear. Apart from the few missions at the start, the player can choose which missions to take throughout a bunch of our solar system's celestial bodies. What this means is not every mission takes place on a planet or moon. One mission takes place on an asteroid closely orbiting the sun, which was pretty cool. Surprisingly, there are a handful of moments where the characters felt like they actually mattered. A bit. Particularly our robot buddy Ethan, who deserves props for coming across as more relatable than almost the rest of the human cast. To say Infinite Warfare's campaign is bad. In fact, it's towards the top of my personal list in the series. It plays well, there's enough explosions, there are some cool weapons, hacking enemy bots and controlling them was pretty neat, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. The downside is that it's still Call of Duty, which means that while it tries to do things differently, there still isn't much to make this entry much of a standout, especially in a year where shooters are apparently a dime a dozen. But enough about single player, let's talk about the online stuff. Online multiplayer comes in two meals, competitive multiplayer and zombies. Competitive multiplayer now gives players more choice in playstyle with the ability to outfit themselves in combat rigs. These rigs serve as a sort of player class system which each have their own benefits in combat and arsenal. At first there's the choice of 3 rigs, Warfighter, Merc and Synaptic, but up to 3 more, FTL, Striker and Phantom, can be unlocked after leveling up through multiplayer. And of course there are the weapons, upgrades and other goodies that come with multiplayer progression too. Thankfully there's also a lot to choose from when it comes to gameplay modes, so there's no reason to doubt that Call of Duty connoisseurs will have enough here to wet their whistle. Zombies on the other hand is a return of the popular horde-based mode, this time set in a 1980s theme park called Spaceland. As zombies are killed and players earn money, funds can be spent at certain locations so that the theme park opens up new areas, giving more ground to cover and more room for zombies to swarm. Spaceland itself is super colourful and the zombies are all wearing era-appropriate outfits that lets COD not take itself too seriously. Zombies in Spaceland also has its own loadout and power-up system in Fate and Fortune cards. These cards can be collected as you level up in zombies matches, and you can change up your deck as a loadout before each game starts. During matches, you can use these cards by pressing both bumpers together after shooting enough zombies or spending money. When a player is killed by zombies, they're teleported to an afterlife arcade to play arcade and carnival games to work towards respawning or otherwise waiting until the next wave starts. It gives players something to actually do instead of waiting around as a punishment for being terrible. Like I was. The whole time. Sorry team. As a whole, Infinite Warfare is a new flavour of what fans already like. It's fun, looks great, and doesn't alienate itself from its audience. But it also doesn't break the mold or reach new heights to reinvent itself like the 2 shooters that arrived in the weeks prior, Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2. In fact, I would even argue that Titanfall 2 has better mechanics like wall running, a better campaign, and more interesting multiplayer. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is fine and an enjoyable entry to the series, but essentially it's just more Call of Duty. And if you're looking for something new and different in the series, then perhaps that'll come next year.